An atom of matter is a permanent solid particle containing mass and rest weight, and which occupies a permanent three-dimensional volume of space, does not exist. The existence of every atom of matter in the universe is a consequence of the disruption to the natural equilibrium occurring at a unique singular point x. In this model, x is relative to nothing other than representing the centre focal point nucleus of the field of time within which the process of the formation of the atom occurs. The corruption of the equilibrium and the beginning of the process of the re-establishment of that equilibrium occurs at the 137 geodesic shell of the field of time. The 137 geodesic shell is also known at the macro scale as the Roche sphere of a massive object, and at the atomic microscale as the electron orbital valence shell of neutral hydrogen. The structure of an atomic element is composed of a finite number of concentric geodesic shells, all located within the 137 Roche sphere geodesic shell of the host field of time. In this scenario, one full orbit of a photon of equilibrium at the 137 geodesic shell represents a unit of 1. An atomic element is a composition of geodesic shells, all having a synchronous frequency of geodesic orbital velocity, which is in harmonic resonance with the 137 Roche sphere. Every internal composite shell must have an intrinsic geodesic orbital frequency, which is a whole number integer of the 137 geodesic orbital frequency. The subsequent formation of the heavier elements, beginning with helium, is a process which occurs over time. The combination of the synchronization of the helium and hydrogen shells establishes 4 polar points on the face of the large circle. All subsequent interior shells must have a synchronicity which is in harmony with the 4 established polar points. The time it takes for a photon to make one orbit of the internal shell also represents the specific period of time it takes for the re-establishment of the equilibrium to be completed at the coordinate x, therefore representing the perceived atomic mass of that element. Now, the most obvious important consideration regarding the scenario I've just described is that all atomic elements have only one nucleus, X, at the centre. An increase in the mass of an atom is not a consequence of an increase in the number of protons and neutrons within the nucleus of the atom, but by virtue of the fact that it is because it takes longer for the equilibrium to be restored at that coordinate x. For instance, the weight of helium turned out to be twice that which was predicted, and the existence of neutrons was invented in order to explain the discrepancy. However, the true explanation for the discrepancy is that the next internal geodesic shell, with a radius of 1/2 of the Roche sphere, will have a surface area which is 1/4 that of the 137 Roche sphere stroke electron orbital shell. A photon of equilibrium orbiting at the helium geodesic shell will take 4 times longer than that of photons of equilibrium orbiting at the 137 Roche sphere, therefore establishing the quantized break on the formation of the helium atom at that coordinate.